thought that my dad was doing me a favor giving me all these, and then I didn't realize till years later it wasn't a favor, it was a nightmare. But these patients are like operating in concrete. As we all know, you can hardly put the infusion cannula in. So I had to figure out a way to make this more effective, and I came up with some techniques. Repeat liposuction takes a lot more time than primary liposuction, and most of these patients already have some small contour deformities present, and it's easy to give them worsened contour deformities when we repeat these. So in contrast to some of the speakers you're going to hear later, I'm somewhat opinionated. I don't think heat-generating technologies are really the way to go. You know, there are tons of different ones all out there, and we've seen them all. The manufacturers even tell us ultrasound cavitates, emulsifies, all these technologies, laser destroys fat cells, coagulates blood vessels, and radiofrequency flat out destroys fat cells. This is from the manufacturers. And my theory on this is that all of these heat-generating devices create a thermal injury. It's undisputed. It kills cells. It's also undisputed. It generates an inflammatory response which causes scar and makes it more likely that we're going to end up seeing a contour deformity down the road as that skin adheres down to the fascia. So I don't use any heat-producing technologies at all, and I use a fat-preserving technique for all of my cases. So just to show you kind of where I came from with this, this is a patient who came from another part of the country and had ultrasonic liposuction of the circumferential trunk. So we can see this is not a good result. It's extremely wavy, very uneven. And so I'm not just picking on other people. This is my patient. And back when I was still using ultrasound, and I thought it was nice from the back. Then as she turns around, you can see that she's just got melted skin with some color changes. And so I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. There's another one on patients. I thought I was going to be pretty happy, and as time went on and on and on, more color changes to the skin and uneven contour of the abdomen, the entire trunk, because I'm very aggressive, and I want to take that down as much as possible, but I can't do that effectively with ultrasonic liposuction, the reason I talked about. And in a repeat liposuction patient, it's even worse because they've already got areas of fibrosis. It requires longer treatment times, whether you're using laser or ultrasound. More thermal damage, ends up with more contour deformities. So I just don't think that we have two completely different paradigms for body contouring. One, when we're fat grafting and we're trying to protect everything and preserve everything, and then a completely different one when we're trying to do liposuction and we're trying to fry everything. I think that it's just one paradigm that says whether we're building it up or taking it down, we want to preserve and protect all of the remaining tissues, and especially the fat that remains. So this technique that I use is called safe lipo: separation, aspiration, and fat equalization. I developed this for the repeat lipos, but now I use it for everything. And the principles are to remove all the excess fat that we don't want, but don't damage the fat that we leave behind. And what we do leave behind is a smooth blanket of separated fat that acts like a blanket. I call these local fat grafts, and they prevent scar and contour deformities. It's a three-step process. The first and the third steps, we do not ever use suction, causing any damage. Aspiration is very typical. It's extremely fast. It's at least twice as fast as normal liposuction because the fat's been separated, parts of the body. And then lastly, the most important step is the fat equalization. So you're done taking out all the fat. You then use the exploded cannula again, no suctioning, and I aggressively mold and contour these areas without any suctioning. This is what leaves that uniform thickness and the blanket of these local fat grafts that prevent skin adhesion. So the advantages, in my mind, I think, very good skin retraction without any risk of a burn because there's no thermal energy. Smooth and even contouring, no skin color changes like we've seen with ultrasonic. And I can be much more aggressive and get more dramatic results without creating contour deformities. And many times these small contour deformities that we see in these repeat liposuction patients you can fix without having to fat graft, which is a pain. So this technique, I use angled cannulas. I'll talk about that. I usually do a 5 to 7 liter liposuction limit, 1-to-1 or slightly over 1-to-1 for infiltration and aspiration, and I always use 3 positions.